And Karen, just to be clear, you didn't do it.
We know who did it, Steve. We know. And we know who spearheaded this cover-up. You all know.
Yes, we do.
If John was beaten up and attacked in that house, who did it?
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. And it's not for us to know. Somebody other than Karen is responsible for that, for the killing of John.
Yeah. Roberta in the truth zone, mic hitting raw. Spotlight shining, she exposing the flaw. Debunking the myth, breaking their facade. This is Glass City, respect the squad. On these NYC blocks where the skyline flex big. Roberta Glass slicing lies with a truth rig. Innocence frosters, your stories unravel. She's a map through the madness of gritty gravel. Glass don't bend and facts don't break. She's a storm that's called, you feel the quake. Exposing tales stitched with crooked seams. Justice in the lens, shattered fake dreams. Screams about killers, painted heroes in disguise. She burning propaganda with fire in her eyes. No glamour for the guilty, she call it straight. She backs victims, the voice stay awake. Stats and receipts, no spin, no clutter. Cold cases whisper, she cuts through the mutter. Truth's her tempo, don't confuse the beat. She's standing for the real while you taking a seat. True crime's a block, facts the artillery. Spinning those lies, yo, she checks that misery. Tabloid tales get smashed, no time to play. She's glass hard, break the false and save the day. True crime's a block, facts the artillery. Spinning those lies, yo, she checks that misery. Tabloid tales get smashed, no time.
Okay. How is everyone? Thank you for your patience. I was trying to work out a few technical things for this show. Hello, Doris. Hello, Rockstar 60. Hello, Miss Dark Humor. Nice to see you here. Haven't seen you in a long time since you dressed up in a teenage ninja, mutant ninja, or the other way around, turtle outfit. Debbie, and made all the free Karen readers insane. Debbie, Gibby, nice to see you. Doris, Chris. Hello, Betty Clark. All right. We're all together. So since it's just us chickens, we can talk freely about Karen Read and her flipping the bird. Oh, my word. She flipped the bird in court twice. And it just really goes to show how Judge Cannone has little control over her courtroom. And I mean, other people have made other comments, but before let me show you what I'm talking about. So this is, and what's so hilarious, not sure what was going on the first time she flipped the bird, but, you know, we heard all this moaning and groaning in the TV show A Body in the Snow about Karen Read. It was Karen Read's star moment, star in her own TV show on ID Discovery, about how terrible, how embarrassing, mortifying it was for her to hear that Brian Higgins' cringy text messages played out in court, that it was like getting some kind of stomach procedure with no anesthesia. That's what it felt like. But here's her own lawyer, Alan Jackson, submitting them into evidence. Because, and I don't really believe it was so mortifying. I think she's above embarrassment. She's always said she's single, even when she was dating. She considers dating someone being single. She's the only one who has that definition of being single. But okay, Karen. I mean, I wasn't married. I was only dating a guy for two years and co-parenting in some respects with him. But okay, I'm single. I'm footloose and fancy free. But here they figure that people kept asking me, why are they bringing these text messages? Why are they bringing these text messages? And this is what Ironman Yuri Bukhenik was reading one time when she flipped the finger. But I don't think she's just defiant and angry at anyone who has the evidence of her guilt and the knowledge of her guilt. That's how she feels towards all of us. Anyone who knows the details of this case and knows she's guilty, F you. And her father had a similar breakdown. We don't know what happened in court. I've heard reports that he was staring at the jury. I don't know if that's true. We really don't know what happened with Bill Reed. But he had to have a babysitter. Imagine being that age and having to have a court officer sit next to you because you can't behave yourself in court. And again, there's just no punishments in Judge Cannone's, not even for a day, not even for a minute. I mean, the worst you're going to get is like a very mild talking to. So it's like a free-for-all in there. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, a court officer had to sit next to Bill Reed because he couldn't behave himself correctly. It seemed to be something about the jury or protecting the jury from him and his behavior. So that's maybe why they thought he was staring at the jury. I'm not so convinced that's what it was. But when the jury was leaving, the court officer was obstructing standing in front of the jury. But she was sitting next to him throughout testimony in the gallery, like he was a child. I mean, what is going on here with this trial? It is so wild and so like nothing I've ever seen before. And I know we see all things like people defendants leaping over and strangling the judge. We've seen wild things like that. But all these things in one case, this is just, I mean, how often do you see witnesses just witness for the defense, like Arca, blatantly just lie with the help of the defense attorney, leading him into this testimony about how he's just not paid for by anyone, never seen Alan Jackson before in his life. Meanwhile, he's writing emails to him, Alan, here, I think this would be really good. Let me script my testimony this way. If you don't, we'll do it this way. I've never seen you before. I was hired by someone else, which was true, but they were retained by the defense and paid for by the defense, $23,925. Meanwhile, they told the first Karen Reed jury, we weren't paid at all. It's wild. So let me show you the finger before I get too into it. Just such wild things happening.
You don't get to choose how people.
Sorry, let me go back to the beginning.
Watch Karen Reed. Do you see it's blurred out?
This is court TV reporting on it. So I'm curious, since lawyers, even in trials and judges, that if their case is getting reported on court TV, they do tune in to see what people are saying about them. So I'm wondering if Judge Cannone, who seems quite narcissistic, has been embarrassed by this. And I wonder if we might get another sidebar with just the defense team, or a meeting in her chambers with just the defense team, or a public admonition. I mean, admonishing. I don't know. What do you think? Or I generally, if my money is on nothing will happen.
See her? Do you see the way she was just sitting? Let's do it again. Now, I'm not saying she was doing.
So yes, they blurred it out. Which I was very thankful for, because I could put it on my thumbnail.
But Josh, this was during the time that the witness was having to read those text messages between Karen Reed and Brian Higgins, and we just picked up on this, and it worries me for her whether she was scratching her eye or not. It doesn't look good. Josh, weigh in.
You don't get to choose how people interpret your actions. That's their privilege. That's their luxury. You just do what you do, and you're accountable for it. Me seeing that, she's lucky a judge didn't catch it. That's something that in many courts would be looked at really poorly if it is determined that that was kind of an intentional action. It's insulting. Everybody knows what that symbol means. I don't have to believe.
One juror had to see it. One of these days, one of the 2 days she did it. Why do you, I mean, so here's Karen Read. We know Karen Read's personality. We know that she's very concerned with her looks. Her sleeves have to be just right. She's Botoxed. I believe that she's just by her profile that she uses Invisalign or something. Her profile to my eye looked a little different than the first trial. It may just be the Botox. Because, you know, when you get Botox around I've always been talking about that lisp that she gets. And it's like this infrequent lisp. And so when you get Botox around your lips, my girlfriend clued me in, you get this kind of lisp sometimes. But she just seems looks and appearances are everything. I remember when Gretchen Voss was fighting, handing in her unedited tapes. I mean, her tapes were so edited. I mean, she edited out more material than she left in, but she eventually lost. And her unedited tapes of Karen Read and her lawyers have come into this trial. She had a lawyer that was elderly and wasn't a Hollywood lawyer. And I just remember Karen Read's looks at him was so disgusted. I mean, to her, image and presentation is everything because she relies on it so heavily to hide what's underneath. She needs that public mask to hide her dark and disturbing personality behind it. So you think Karen Read didn't know what she was doing, just accidentally had to use her middle finger to itch her eye in court? Really? She knows cameras are on her? No. She did this. She did this, and she did it to also hype up the free Karen Readers. They love this. And they had a defense of her, and I'll show it to you in a second. But I think, did anyone remember the hearing where Karen Read started to laugh, and Hank Brennan turned to Karen Read and said something to the effect of, "You think this is funny?" And it was just like so beautifully done, perfectly done. But I mean, she squints at him. She shakes her head. I mean, just like very teenager-ish. I saw this behavior with Ghislaine Maxwell. Another dark, disturbing personality. They're risk takers. They don't care. They're angry. And they're very aggressive.
Labor that point. Justice Kitty's so interested. She's jumping up to get a better look at it. Highly inappropriate. Did the jurors see it? Did anybody else see it?
Right.
Like it adds yet another dimension. And this is during one of the cringiest parts of this trial. Those text messages, we've all heard the joke. Oh, write emails like they're gonna be read in court. That's exactly what we just watched. And it was gripping. You could not look away from those texts in plain form. We're all interpreting exactly what those mean. We know we're not dumb. Neither are those jurors.
Yeah, it is cringy.
They see this.
Yeah, and it is cringy. And they're watching her. And I said yesterday, she was laughing at testimony from the digital forensics witness who was using a pizza analogy. And Karen Read was just flat out laughing at her while she was testifying, or what I perceived. That was my perception of her laughing at her while she was testifying. And I said, you know what? If I were the court, I'd rein her in. I'd do it off the record. I'd do it with the attorney's private.
That's what a judge is there to do. But there's right behind her is the court officer sitting next to her. What is he, 80 years old? Her 80-year-old father, correct me if I'm wrong. Is he 70 or 80? he can't control himself. I mean, they are cut from the same cloth. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree in that family. Let's just hear the rest of this
privately,
nonsense.
but I'd say, listen, court decorum, you have to respect it. Just really quickly, Josh, don't you feel like some of these things really cross the line for court decorum, no matter who you are in that courtroom?
Absolutely, and I would find those actions inappropriate if called to the attention of the court. The court has an obligation to maintain decorum. It should start in an escalating manner where it's private, but if eventually it needs to be done in front of a jury, then it gets to be done in front of a jury. You're not going to let anyone disrespect your court if you're a good judge.
Do you see it's blurred out?
If you're a good judge, did you hear that? You're not going to let anyone, I mean, actually, they made some good points in that. It wasn't all nonsense. It's just, I found the part about, does Karen Read know she's doing this, to be a little ridiculous. If she's a good judge. But we've seen so much lying, so much extrajudicial statements. Why did we have to wait till the last minute to have a gag order in this case? It just, Karen Read's free to keep talking, Karen. But why did the lawyers have to? Why did Judge Cannone basically bankroll Karen Read's innocence fraud campaign by not putting a gag order on the case sooner? It's like we're a week before trial, 2 weeks before trial, and she finally decides. First trial was asked for again. She denied it. I mean, her interest is solely with Karen Read. And that's what she considers a fair trial. And I disagree. I think it has to be a balance of the defendant's interests, the people's interests, the victim's interests, the victim's family's interests. This is just Karen Read and her feelings, her what's good for her totally rule. And I understand she has a right to a fair trial, but to me, that's not a fair trial. So one-sided. But hey, Tanya Vincent, thanks so much. What I've seen this week on the Free Karen Read media was disgusting. Complete bias. Yes, cops did not do the best job. I would like to see Free Karen Read do better in a right? Was you human? You have a witness saying, I did it. I'm not even, I don't know. I'd like to see all the people that criticize the police. I'd like to see their investigation in a case like this and show me how much better it would be. But yes, Karen Read is guilty. I mean, when Free Karen Read basically, again, got the town to bankroll an independent audit of the police's job, they had very minor, they really were reaching for stuff. Like they should have photographed the body. Excuse me. Can you stop your life-saving measures on John O'Keefe so I can photograph the body in a nor'easter? And their timings was all wrong. But even they said it was really ingenious the way that they used leaf blowers that didn't disturb the evidence and could just uncover the snow and solo cups. At least they got his blood. And they weren't like, oh, it was in the snow. It melted. Too bad it was gone. They got it. Sure, it would have been better to put it in an evidence kit. But it's so Karen Read. It made zero difference at all to anything. There wasn't someone else. I would understand if there was someone else's DNA that got collected in it or some kind of corruption of the evidence, but it all arrived safely. So, Dean Walker, thanks so much for the super sticker. Thanks for Cat in the Shadows, by the way, for having me on her channel. It was simulcast here. Really enjoyed it. We had a long talk. I'm sorry it's a long talk. It's a couple hours. maybe more than a couple hours. Yeah, 2 or 3 hours episode. It's up on this channel. And thanks so much to everybody who showed up, all the channel members who showed up on Friday for a special members only show. It's also up in Patreon for my Patreon subscribers. Didn't want to leave you out either. So I really appreciate all the support. Please hit the thumbs up. While you're thinking about it now, let's get the YouTube algorithm going. If you'd like to support this channel, you can send me a Venmo, buy me a coffee. Links are in the description of this episode. This channel is right now almost entirely member supported, so I really appreciate it. Hey, Miss Dark Humor. Roberta, does Judge Cannone have a different plan for later? What does that mean? Is she thinking about the appeal process? Okay, let me just read the rest of your message. I can't imagine that she just going along with this. Do you think she has? No, I don't think she's playing a long game. She's, that's a nice way to look at it. It's a very open-minded way of looking at it. But I think that she's a former defense attorney who represented a man who killed and violated a 6-year-old in the worst way that you can, strangled her with her own necklace. And she represented that guy and gave sort of, at his sentencing, said there was not a day that he didn't feel badly for what he did. Badly. Badly. Not, I mean, come on. Just something like that. It was just, I think she admires lawyers like Alan Jackson. I think she was very much a lawyer like Alan Jackson who became a judge. That's my feeling on her. It's my take. I mean, you can see her when Alan Jackson gets really aggressive. She delights in it with witnesses. So here's the free Karen Reed response to, let's call it Birdgate. Birdgate, Karen Reed Birdgate. MAGA Barbie says, if you're going to take a screenshot of a video of Karen Reed scratching her nose and make it seem like she's flipping the bird, we can play that game too. Okay. Does anyone see the difference between what Karen Reed did in court twice and what Judge Cannone's doing and what Hank Brennan's doing here in these pictures? I'll wait till you catch up from the delay with me. Right. Thank you, Kara. Kara got it right away. They're holding a pen. Right. So they're trying to do two things at once. She may be trying to point. I don't know if it's just awkward. They're holding a pen. Karen has all 5 fingers to choose from and nothing else to do with it. So I don't think Judge Cannone saw it. I don't know if she will do anything. That question is, clearly now she knows. I'm pretty sure that the message has been gotten to her in one way or another, whether she's watched court TV or she's watched the news or someone else told her about it. The message has gotten to her. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Be live streaming the trial. Starts at 10 o'clock tomorrow, not 9 o'clock. So message to everyone. So this is just a free Karen Reed. Readers always, will come up with some excuse that Karen Reed is somehow innocent of her own behavior. It's all innocent and all a mistake. And the Commonwealth are the ones that are really aggressive and badly behaved. Manny says, I think it's a long game, wants a seat at the Innocence Project. Maybe when she retires, she may. You got it, Manny. She's very much on that line of that ideology that all the people in all our defendants they call it justice involved youth. That's what they call in the teen killer. They call teen killers justice involved youth, or even They just somehow got involved in the justice system. Like they volunteered become a murder defendant or a defendant in a robbery case or some other kind of predation case. Justice involved people. They're involved with the justice involved. Doesn't sound good. They're involved in creating justice. I mean, these lawyers are really wordsmiths. And once you change the language is very important. You can change perception. Wants a seat at the Innocence Project when she retires and is mindful of appeals, so allows shenanigans like crazy. I think you're right on. You're right on for the right on. That's how I see it, Manny, too. Yeah, exactly. Very much ideologically aligned with this, with the wrongful conviction movement, Innocence Project, people who totally kind of disdain victims' families and consider the real victims, the defendants and the convicts in our system. Yeah, she's on the extreme end of a defense attorney. So that is that. Let me show you. So that's what happened. So I don't know what's going to happen Monday, but we may see something happen. I mean, clearly her courtroom's out of control. What I think it depends on is how much she feels that her image is being affected. So if she feels that people on Court TV are talking about why can't she control her courtroom? I mean, that was pretty mild. That was only a little mention. But I'll say it. Why can't she control her courtroom? If she feels there's a perception that her courtroom is out of control, she might act. So we might see something done, and I think it will be done in private, not in public. I would think, but nothing may happen. My money is on nothing happening, and we'll see if Karen Read does it again. But I think more eyes will be on Karen Read. Also, and this is just really a short one. Also, I wanted to show you. Karen Read says again, so I'm asking the lawyers in the audience. Karen Read answered questions leaving the courthouse. And now she's saying, so here are the stories we've heard from Karen Read about whether she saw John O'Keefe go into the house. First, she said she saw him go into the front door when she dropped him off at 34 Fairview. She said he's gone in the side door. Those clips are being played in court. They haven't been played yet. There's also another interview she did where she said she looked down at her phone at the crucial moment and then he was gone. So he could not have gone in and something else could have happened to him. And this is one of the things that really was a red flag for me, why she would look at her phone at the crucial moment. When I get dropped off by, I know you've heard, people who listen to my Karen Read episodes probably have heard this before, but when I get dropped off by a cab, a stranger, they watch and make sure I get into my building okay. Something you do for a stranger, but you're not going to do for your boyfriend of 2 years. You're going to, she's vague about what she had to look on her phone. At that moment, you have to look at your phone. So here she's lying to the press and saying she saw John O'Keefe walk into 34 Fairview. Take a listen. Also, she says these are two different shoes. Take a listen. The Commonwealth is switching up evidence. It's another free Karen Read talking point. So he says, what about the shoes?
To what John was wearing?
Just look at the evidence. Look at the pictures. I didn't collect them. I've seen that, though.
Karen, did you see John go in the house?
I did.
You saw him go in the house?
I saw John go in the house.
Can you describe him going to the house? Which door and how and when?
No, I have, though, and I'm sure the prosecution will play it.
Do you think Proctor will testify, Karen?
I don't believe so, but you see.
She does have that towel. Look at it's the left side of her face or the sides of her face sort of get very tight and smirky. She gets duper's delight when she lies. She starts smiling. Look, let's watch that again. Someone said, oh, she has to tell it's the right side of her face, but I think they mean our right. You can even kind of see it there. I think it's our right, her left.
I didn't collect them. I've seen that though.
Karen, did you see John go in the house?
I did.
You saw him go in the
I
house.
saw John go in the house.
Can you describe him going to the house?
It's the same face she's making when she's talking about how they switched out the shoes.
Which door and how and when?
No, I
Don't play poker, Karen. You'll lose big.
have though, and I'm sure the prosecution will play it.
Do you think Proctor will testify, Karen?
I don't believe so, but you've seen this afternoon how much evidence has not been shown to this jury. And we've had to work really hard. Alan's had to work really hard to organize it so that they can be presented with the actual evidence in this case.
Would you call him?
Proctor?
To be determined.
Karen, what did you think of the difficulty in getting Sergeant Buchanan?
That makes me think they're not going to call Proctor. I don't think they're going to call Proctor. That was my reaction. I may be wrong. They may be thinking won't call Proctor unless we really have to. But clearly, we know already that they really have to. They have to do something. It's been Proctor, Proctor, Proctor. So here's the dilemma they're in. So what happens when they've made him out to be this monster and he comes in and he really does, I thought for the most part, unless you're a free Karen reader, and you already see him, you have preconceived notions that he does testify well. He comes across mild, man, kind of mild, not a guy who was really angry that his fellow police officer was murdered in the most brutal, callous. I know there's not a nice way to murder someone, but this is really up there. To just let them die, leave them there? You just left them there? I always hear Peggy O'Keefe in my head telling Cameron Reed, you just left him there. And what Peggy meant at the time was you just dropped him off, but it's so chilling in retrospect. She said, I just dropped him off. You just left him there? Because a mom knows. But she just left him there to die. He didn't look mortally wounded. And I'm wondering if they really have this car data that we've been talking about. I'm starting to think they don't. I don't know. Maybe coming. Certainly the ring data is coming. But we haven't seen the stuff we saw in the first trial where her car's headed towards 34 Fairview, past the hold on one second. Past the temple. You can see her car going past the temple and in the direction of 34 Fairview. But this time around, I wonder if much fanfare was made about this car data. I know they say there's only a handful of witnesses left. Are we going to see this car data or not? Is Hank Brennan saving some of the best for last? I know we have the neurosurgeon who deals with brain injured patients talking about, and we have an accident reconstructionist coming up. But is that when we're going to see the car data? Is there car data? Was it obtained? I don't know. That's also a big mystery in this case. And that would be wholly new evidence. But also, what's also coming up is the Hank Brennan on the 7th of May asked to bring in a witness to bring in the records, the ring camera evidence records. So I'm going to take a quick break. When I get back from the break, we're going to go over the ring camera testimony on I think double speed, maybe 1.5 speed with Yuri Bukhenik, where he showed these Ring camera videos and talked about the videos that are missing. And we're going to talk a little bit about Ring camera. Could Karen Read have deleted it? Free Karen Read, and Karen Read says no, she wouldn't even know how to delete the Ring camera footage, but I'll show you how easy it is to delete Ring camera footage when we get back. So don't go anywhere. You won't want to miss this. I'll be right back. I'm sorry. I'm having technical difficulties today. Bear with me. Bear with me, guys.
Mic check, Roberta strides through the static haze. True crime Gotham where the shadows play their plays. Fraudsters fold when a spotlight beams. Fact focused queen busting propaganda schemes. Glass shatter lies echoes through the streets. Standing for victims, giving voice their beats. NYC Pulse, truth sharp as night. Roberta exposing, she's the anti-fraud light. Hard cash warrior, dissecting state and defense. Twisted innocence, claims breaking pretense. Gotham's truth seeker cuts clean with the blade. Facts in the forefront, no justice gets swayed. Cold facts drip heavy, real talk unfurls. Cracking cases open like oysters with pearls. Innocence gimmicks crumble to dust in the wind. For victims, her creed, justice till the end. Headphones blazing, she drops heavy artillery. Narratives twisted, meet blunt object civility. Roberta got receipts that unravel the ploy. Exposing the lies these fraudsters deploy. Glass shatters lies, echoes through the streets. Standing for victims, giving voice their beats. NYC Pulse, truth sharp as night. Roberta exposing, she's the anti-fraud light.
Okay, before I get into it, some thank yous. Thank you. A whole bunch of new patrons on Patreon. Thank you guys so much. It's really, when you're doing, I'm doing 2 shows, 5 days a week now during this trial. It's really very encouraging to get any kind of, to get this kind of support. Carolyn Wilkes, Rosie Gay, Grace, Sally Merrick, Amanda D, Mary B, Mrs. Jones, and Amy Gill, Eileen. Thank you so much for joining Patreon. Also, want to thank someone who doesn't want to be thanked. Tammy, I want to thank you so much, Tammy Shepard, for being such an amazing supporter of this show. Jen Buell. And I'll do the buy me a coffees and on the break, on the next break. Okay, here we go. So this is during Yuri Bukhenik's testimony. We saw him talk about this Ring camera footage and missing Ring camera footage. And a lot was found, but key moments, it's not found. When Karen Read arrives at John O'Keefe's house that night without him, after she's run him over approximately 25 miles an hour in reverse with her foot approximately 70 75% down, her foot approximately 75% down on the gas pedal. I mean, just the pressure, almost flooring it, near flooring it, with her infotainment system beeping and flashing at her. And we know that that was in working condition. How do we know that was in working condition? Because when Karen Read talks to the ID Discovery TV show about returning to going to John's home without his permission, sneaking into his home, I always say like a burglar, not taking off her shoes because she knew John's rules didn't matter anymore, sneaking into his home. She talks about, oh, you can hear me get into John's home and you can hear my high heels and you can hear my car sensors. That's when you're about to hit something, go beep, 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 beep. That's what they do. Because you can hear my car sensors go beep, 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 beep. So right before she hit John, they were going off. She's very aware of them. She drives that car all the time. Yet she's going to ignore it. She's going to turn her steering wheel into him. I mean, there was an event. She hit something that night. I'll agree with her. So here's Yuri Bukhenik talking about the Ring camera videos. Let's see how this does on 1.5 speed.
19. Thank you. After that video, did you have an opportunity to look at video at about 5:05 p.m.?
I'm sorry, there was a noise coming from a bag over there. I apologize.
Not a problem.
Can you repeat that question?
Sure. On January 28, 2022, did you have a chance to look at video from the ring at about 5:05 p.m.?
Yes.
Go ahead, video 145, please. Thank you, Ms. Gilman. Did you have, there's more video. Did you have a chance to look at video from a little later that evening, 7:36 p.m.?
Yes, I did.
Do we have video 149, please? Thank you. In your investigation, did you learn that the defendant's phone connected to Mr. O'Keefe's Wi-Fi at his house on January 29, 2022 at 12:36:39?
Yes.
Did you look for any ring video for that time, 12:36:39?
Yes.
Was there any ring video on the production that was sent to you by Ring for the time period of around 12:36:39 on the evening of January 29, 2022?
There was no ring video for that time frame.
Did you look for ring video around 5:07:58 that morning on January 29, 2022?
Yes, I did.
Could we see video 153, please?
So did everybody hear that? It went by very quickly, but the video of her love tapping John O'Keefe's car, and Ring has I've heard Ring has a feature where anything that turns up red, it turns up very red. So this was an argument early on, and free Karen readers would say, well, she didn't damage her taillight until after this, because look how red it is, the brake line, but it's only part of it. And it also, I hear it fills it in very red, the Ring camera. I don't know if that's true or not. Let me know, people who have Ring cameras. It may just be a reflection with the snow and the other car and the part of the taillight that is intact. But you can clearly see as she drives away, there's her busted up taillight and no taillight pieces on the ground. And her own experts, her ARCA experts, say that are so beholden to her that a collision that slow, it couldn't have caused that damage to her taillight. So I want to know if ARCA, if all their bogus junk science tests determined that Karen Read couldn't have clipped John O'Keefe. So no one's saying that he was hit head on. They're saying that he was hit on the side. And I believe what they're going to argue in this trial is that he hit his head on that top of the car, the spoiler of the car. And that's where he got the skull fracture in the back of the head. And spun out. If you've seen anyone get hit by a car, it's very chaotic and your body flies, does fly. I know the free Karen readers go, oh, it's so absurd that he was fly. Like, what is he, a ballerina? Is he Superman that he can? But it was really chaotic. And even at 25 miles an hour, we don't think of that as high speed. It's enough speed to send you flying and to lift you out of one shoe. This is a common occurrence we see with people who get hit by cars, is that they're knocked out of their shoes. So John O'Keefe was knocked out of one of his Nike sneakers. So
Thank you. Did you review that video from 5:07:58?
Yes.
Did you later review video of 5:46:29?
Yes.
Could we play number 154, please? Could you stop that, please? Do you recognize what's in that video?
Yes, I do.
What is that?
That is top left corner is Mr. John O'Keefe's vehicle. Middle left side of the screen is a black Lexus SUV registered to Karen Read with the license plate based on that registration. And then on the right side, I believe that's Miss Carrie Roberts' vehicle.
Did you see the people enter the house?
Yes.
Did you look for further video after the people arrived at 5:46:29?
Yes.
Is there any video of those three people leaving?
No, there was not.
Was there later video at 7:05:16 a.m.?
There was, yes.
Ms. Gilman, can we see video 155, please?
So again, missing video of Karen Read showing Carrie and Jennifer McCabe the taillight. So just to get to my point, that really blasted through my headphones. Could you delete the camera? Now we know that she could be so we know she looked after the kids. And John could have given her access as a allowed user. You can allow people to be like a extra, a shared user on your Ring camera. So I just wanted to show you how easy it is to delete these things. Check out this video on it. It's, just to delete part of it. There's a lot of videos on how to delete everything on your Ring camera history, but it's very easy to just delete. If you have the app to delete, select. Karen Read said she wouldn't even know how to do this, and her father. So we don't know. She could have done this anytime. It does not have to be the time she came home. She didn't have to jump on John O'Keefe's computer or something else. It could be just as simple as any time in the hospital, in the back of a police car. any time she could have done this if she had the app. So what's curious is whether we're going to see ring camera records, and I'll show you that in a second, that Hank Brennan has put in an order to bring someone in to read those records.
3 ways to review your Ring video camera event history. Open the Ring app and navigate to the camera that you would like to review. Now, the first and the most easiest way is to scroll through your timeline right down here to an event that you would like to review. If you'd like to go back a few days or a few months, just go ahead and hit the calendar right at the bottom.
So it's motion activated. So when there's, it shows up in time, it's keeping track of what's going on in front of your house. But wait, it's not. Sorry, why did I say it's motion? It's up to, what I meant is it's up to, it records up to motion activated. Where did I come up with that? It records up to a certain distance. So this is a free Karen Reader argument. Why didn't other people in the neighborhood have a Ring camera? You can see that it records up to a certain distance well.
The third option is by going to Settings in the top right corner, then Event History. Now you can scroll up to find the event that you'd like to review. You can also swipe left on a selected event in order to save as favorite, download or share, and also to delete. 3 ways to
So it's just a swiping. It's just a swipe. Did everybody see that? It's so easy to
review
do.
your Ring video camera event history. Open the Ring app and navigate to the camera that you would like to review. Now, the first and the most easiest way is to scroll through your timeline right down here to an event that you would like to review. If you'd like to go back a few days or a few months, just go ahead and hit the calendar right at the bottom. The third option is by going to Settings in the top right corner, then Event History. Now you can scroll up to find the event that you'd like to review. You can also swipe left on a selected event in order to save as favorite, download or share, and also to delete. 3 ways to review your Ring video camera event history. Open the
There you go. 3 ways to do it. So, is anybody, very easily done. She did not have to be, delete, swipe and delete. Pick the thing that, the time period that you want, swipe and delete. It is not difficult. So, Karen Read, right. I'm wondering if Karen Read deleted her kissing Higgins, or had a habit of deleting things that she wanted to hide from John O'Keefe. It seems to be in line with her personality of being very sneaky and aware of the evidence that she's leaving. Tries to hide it. Very aware of physical evidence and the physical evidence that she's creating. Yeah, very easy to delete. So she could have kissed Higgins outside of the cameras. But do you think that was true, that Karen Read said that John O'Keefe showed me footage of us leaving together. And I mean, did she make that up? That John O'Keefe saw the chemistry and wondered if did he pick up on that? Or is that something that Karen Read said to Brian Higgins to say, look, even John saw that we have such amazing chemistry. What do you guys think? I'm curious, because I've been thinking about that. So do you guys remember that part? I know it's hard to remember in the text messages. There's so many parts. She's saying she had colon cancer and 10 surgeries. Also, but she made it up, just like Richie the plumber. Hey Jude thinks. I think that's probably more logical. I don't think John O'Keefe would have suspected that she would. I mean, if he suspected, why was he going out of his way to, bring the two of them together? It didn't seem. Or maybe he didn't care at that point. Maybe he didn't care. Bunny Bunny says, hold on one sec. Karen Read said, Brian Higgins, I think you're hot. Said to Brian Higgins, I think you're hot. John O'Keefe asked her if the plumber was hot. Weird. Strange. Do you think she also had a habit of snooping on his phone? I don't know. I don't know what kind of. She certainly was very aware of covering her steps, like very criminally minded. So Angela says, Higgy, are you messing with me? ? Yeah, that's the way Ironman Yuri Bukhenik read it. I call him Ironman because he's such a strong witness. Totally. It's just how his appearance, also being a former Marine, he's just Ironman. He's Ironman Bukhenik to me. I think Higgins is why KR did not want to go into the house that night. I'm not. I don't know. I don't know. I think they were fighting all night. My feeling is it had nothing to do with that. I don't believe she was jealous the way that they said. I believe that's a control mechanism. That's the way I see it. But I think that they were fighting all day in private. You can even see her flashing, giving him the finger at one point. Even in jest, it's hostile. Even if you give someone the finger in jest, it's hostile. In the bar, Ironman Bukhenik pointed that out to the jury. I was glad to see that pointed out. But I think they were fighting. I think she was hanging on, but she seemed to know it was over too. I think she was really just hanging on to, the way I'm starting to see it is, or thinking about it, it could change tomorrow, is that she was hanging on to get her revenge, keep him on the line to get her revenge. I think she was fantasizing about doing something like this, something big to teach John a lesson. I don't think this was spur of the moment. I think she had thought about it, and they had their last fight, and he said, I've had enough. No more. Done with this. Are you coming? He took her glass. Are you coming with me? And she said, no, I'm not coming. I'm going to reverse my car into you and leave you there. That's how I see it. She was being dumped. She couldn't handle it. I mean, this is 2 days before. I mean, a really important fact in this case that has gotten so obscured is that 2 days before, we thought it was a lot further. Hold on. Do you hear that? Did you just hear my cat? Further down the road. But now this trial, it's 2 days before. He asked her to leave and she would not leave. She refused to leave. I mean, that's such a violation. Like, I don't care what your boundaries are. I don't care what you want. How is he going to get her out of her house? Call the police? It's like one of those nightmare squatters' rights stories that we have in New York. Like, I invited my old college buddy to stay over, and now I'm in the process of evicting them. I'm evicting my guest from my apartment. And how is he going to get Karen Read to leave? Physically lock her out of the, I mean, I guess he could have carried her out and locked her out with all her stuff. I mean, but he didn't seem that type of guy to get physical like that and throw her over his shoulder. I mean, how do you get someone out of your house that refuses to leave? Yeah, she couldn't handle the rejection, but I think all this Higgins, she started plotting her revenge tactics. And when Higgins didn't look like it was coming through, right? That was the first, I'm starting to see, this is where I'm going, but this is just a theory, is when then she could not get Higgins. Like, what's more hurtful than dating someone, a friend of John O'Keefe's? Making John feel betrayed by not only Karen Read, but by Higgins, Brian Higgins. That didn't work out. They met and there was no chemistry and it just fizzled. I love that the defense is putting that forward like it's the biggest impetus for him that Higgins would murder John O'Keefe alone and in that manner. And somehow Karen Read's taillight got smashed somehow. Just Karen Read is the unluckiest woman in the world. All the evidence points to her, except Higgins did it in this undetectable way because he's a police ninja. But you can tell he had his chance to have her, and he was like, no thanks. Nothing happened. He came over to her house and was like, yeah, he dodged a bullet big time. He must get like the hairs on the back of his neck, like a full body skeeve, like shivers when he thinks about it, don't you think? So I'm going to keep it short and sweet for tonight. Is there anything else that I missed? Oh, yes, there is. There's a couple things that I missed. All right, just to wrap up for I just want to show you. I want to thank M. Skate, Barbara Danforth, Tammy, and Gizmo, and someone for buying me a coffee. Please support the channel. The links are in the description of this episode. But before I go, let me just show you this. So Hank Brennan has asked for the Ring camera footage for someone from Ring to come in the middle of the trial to bring in these records. Okay. And you can see here, it says, person to whatever statute, the Commonwealth respectfully requests that this court issue a certificate of materiality to be used in securing the attendance of Joanna Fugora, or the designated custodian of the records for Ring LLC, as a witness in the trial of this matter. The defendant has been charged with murder in the second degree, manslaughter while operating a motor vehicle under the influence of alcohol, and leaving the scene of personal injury resulting in death. The indictments arise out of the death of John O'Keefe, the defendant's boyfriend. The Commonwealth alleges that the defendant struck Mr. O'Keefe with her vehicle on the morning of January 29, 2022, and then left the scene, returning to Mr. O'Keefe's home. And then I say, like a burglar. The Ring surveillance camera system installed at Mr. O'Keefe's home captured video recording of the defendant and her vehicle on that same morning after she allegedly struck him. See, why did she have to return to his home? Because she had to make it seem like everything was okay with them, right? I think it's part of the cover-up. She didn't go to her home in Mansfield. Everything was okay. I was just waiting for him to come home. And then she had easy access to his niece, and then she could involve a lot of other characters. And by mixing in all those other characters, she now had new characters in the story that she could point the finger at. Without Jen McCabe, Carrie Roberts, who had she needed them so little on that morning. She didn't need the moral support because we've seen she had no grief. No grief, no shock. She acted hysterical to get herself sectioned, but she jumped right on his dead body and lifted up her shirt and lifted up his shirt and rubbed on him to get him warm with absolutely no fear. So she had to have the appearance that they were still together, that she went to his home, not her home, and that they were like it was any other night. And then it had the added bonus of involving and re-traumatizing the children. His niece, who she really deeply resented and hated. I mean, you can see in those text messages. I hope that there are some members of the jury that are very psychologically minded and very perceptive, because if you look at those text messages between Karen Read and Brian Higgins, Karen Read is constantly talking about children and how much she hates children and hates couples, and every couple is deeply miserable. She resents the children from taking attention away from her. She can't have total power and control over them. I mean, she tried so many different tactics. You can hear that when you read about the reporting from, or listen to when it was leaked, the testimony of the children. I mean, especially the niece. Karen Read would give them the silent treatment. She would flash warm and hot. They always felt like they were walking on eggshells around her. The Ring surveillance camera system installed at Mr. O'Keefe's home captured video recordings of the defendant and her vehicle on the same morning after she allegedly struck him. The anticipated trial testimony of the designated custodian of the records for Ring is material and necessary to confirm and authenticate the recordings. So this may just be to authenticate the recordings. But will we see deletions? Do they have that in their records? Ring produced in response to search warrants that were served on it by law enforcement in this matter, and explain how recordings associated with a Ring customer subscribers account are maintained by Ring and may be assessed by users through the subscribers account. So essentially they're saying this is how Karen Read gained access, or someone else. I'm sure the defense will try to say someone else gained access and it wasn't Karen Read. LOL. Oh, they only deleted videos that would be bad for Karen Read and no one else. Ring has its principal place of business in Seattle, Washington. Ring has been, and it does not object to producing a witness to testify in this case, but the company does require a summons issued by the court in the state of Washington. So that's what he wants, the summons. But I'm curious if they have records of the deletion. Wouldn't you think they would have that? More computer savvy people, let me know. Would they have records of that, like on an app? Chloe deleted it, Taterfug. Is Maestro still around? I'll ask him about it later. All right. I'm going to keep it short and sweet for tonight. Nah, I doubt it. Okay. So Maestro's saying no records of deletion, but they're going to explain how records are kept and how easy it would be. Maybe they'll do a little demonstration on how easy it would be to delete records. I'm curious. Do you think that new video of Karen Read can come in of her saying that I saw him go into the house? Do you think Hank Brennan will ask for it? If you make statements during your trial, it's so unprecedented. Most defendants wouldn't dare make a statement to the press about their own case during trial. I wonder if he's going to bring it. They will definitely have access to records. Yeah, I'm wondering if she deleted the app off her phone. I would assume she would have the app on her phone. I'm hoping they'll explain all this next week. Next week, apparently we only have a handful of Commonwealth witnesses left. So this is going very quickly. And Proctor is not testifying. So we don't know whether Karen Read's going to bring him in. So that is all the news. I'll be on a little before 10, maybe 9:45, 9:50 tomorrow morning. Look for me at my channel. We'll watch day 14 of the Karen Read trial number 2 together. Thanks so much for listening. Please hit the like, subscribe to the channel, support the channel. You can become a patron and get access to content you won't get anywhere. You can become a channel member, get emojis and other perks. Or you can, another great way is just to donate via Venmo, a one-time donation, or just buy me a coffee. That's your best bang for your buck. All right. Have a great night, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 9:45. Thanks for listening.
I hit my boyfriend with my car. It wasn't an accident, but with lying lawyers I'll go far. Lying lawyers and witness harassment. I'll avoid prison. It was snowing. I pushed the pedal down, hit him hard. Now the legal system I clown. Innocence fraud campaign to save my skin. Making money, truth is my second victim. Carry, carry, gin, gin. Like John, you were my mark. My innocence fraud campaign is my biggest hit. Yeah. I hit my boyfriend with my car. It wasn't an accident, but with lying lawyers I'll go far. Lying lawyers and witness harassment. I'll avoid prison. It was snowing. I pushed the pedal down, hit him hard. Now the legal system I clown.